Hey, you're going to go on vacation this summer? I hope so. Hope you can get away. Who's going to pay for it? The government? Make sure you do it right, okay? We're going to be talking about how it is that you can write things off honestly with Tom Wheelwright. And Tom is a guy who really knows what he's talking about because why? Give me your title.
Well, I'm the CEO and founder of Provision, CPA firm, and I speak internationally on how to reduce your taxes. That's what I do.
But if I want to deduct my vacation,
yes,
my understanding is that Wheelwright says there are 3 can't miss tests.
Absolutely. So any deduction, if it's a business, has a business purpose, okay, and it is ordinary, meaning it's typical in your business, okay, to do this, and it's necessary, meaning that it actually helps you increase your profits, or it maybe expands your market share or something like that. Those are the 3 main tests, plus the documentation. And that applies to any expense. Travel's unique, because travel, all you have to do is spend more than half your time during the business day doing business to meet those 3 tests. And if you do spend half your time doing that, well, 4.5 hours basically a day, then it becomes deductible.
But isn't almost anything applicable to the definition of doing business?
Well, again, that's where ordinary and necessary comes in, Pat, because it's got to be typical for your business. So, if you're an accountant and you're traveling to, see Disneyland, for example, probably going to be tough, making that deductible, unless, of course, you're doing it with a client, and then all of a sudden now you're spending time with a client, you're having business discussions. So yeah, you can really anybody with a business should be able to do this.
How strict is the government?
Very. So you have to have the documentation, you have to make sure that you keep your receipts, you have to make sure that you've kept a log of what you did, what you saw, and so forth. But it's actually the government wants you to do this because they want you to do business. And because when you do business, chances are you're going to make more money, and when you make more money, you're going to pay more taxes. So there's a real incentive for the government to do this.
How about if I count weekends? Huh? Can I do that?
There's the nice thing. So what's your business day? Most people's business day is Monday through Friday. So if if you're going on a Thursday or Friday and you have an appointment on a Monday, then clearly you're going to have to be there for the weekend. Do you have to do business over the weekend? I don't think so. I think the fact that you have to be there both Friday and Monday is sufficient for the government.
Hotel expenses, what about that?
They're included. They're part of the travel. Even meals, even your meals. Of course, you know that only 50% of your meals are deductible, but still, your meals would be, subject to that 50% rule, and you'd get that.
If I only eat half my dinner, then the entire thing, I can write off. What about, though, the idea that some people will really move the quality of the hotel up in a real posh setting because they know that it's a business expense? So
go back to your ordinary. Is it typical?
Oh.
Okay, would it be typical for you to stay at that kind of a hotel? And if it is, then go for it.
Family members love to travel with business people, don't they?
They do.
Well, what about letting the government pay for my family members coming along as my companions?
Well, actually there's a court case, it's an old court case, Roy Disney, Walt Disney's brother.
Yeah.
He took his wife on business trips, and the court held that because that was a family business, and clearly it was important for her to be there to portray it as a family business, then her expenses were also deductible. So all that means is, as long as your family is actually actively engaged in the business. I'll give you a cute story. So I was in London a few years ago, and I'm the driver of our taxi, his son's with him, and his son's 8. And he takes his son, he's from Sicily, and he takes his son to Sicily, and they're looking for investment property, and he calls up the real estate agent. He says, by the way, I'm not able to go with you tomorrow, my son's going. And actually sends his son was a bright little kid. His son comes back and he says, Dad, I don't think we should do this investment. It'd be better to rent. The numbers don't add up. So in that case, the 8-year-old absolutely did his job. He was on business. Get to deduct the 8-year-old.
But if the kid was that smart, why would he be in real estate? All right, okay. International business. You're talking about going to Italy and going to London.
Sure.
That may not be usual for me, but I might decide to go internationally to some major city in order to find out what the business atmosphere is there.
Well, you might have a business, for example. Now, see, what I do is I actually get speaking promoters to pay for my trip.
Yes.
So all of that's going to be business, as long as the purpose is to go for business. So you can make a business. Now, international is a little different. The rules are a little different. In the U.S., it's an all or nothing test. So either you spent more than 50% and it's all deductible, or you spent less than 50% and none of it's deductible. When you go foreign, it's proportionate. So if you spent 40% of your time doing business, 40% is deductible.
If the government says you're in real trouble and you may wind up in Leavenworth, just tell them Tom Wheelwright of Provision gave you permission to do the whole thing. This is Patrick Mahan.